channel. If you're new, please subscribe, like, comment. Okay, so today is going to be kind of like a story time video, but a little different because it's not about me. It is about one of my friends from kind of the recent past who I actually was really close with at one time, and we kind of just gravitated apart. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna name names because it isn't my story, and I don't think that would be right on my part or anybody that does YouTube videos to put people out there unless they've had permission. And like I said, I don't talk to this my friend anymore, so I wouldn't even be able to know if this was okay to talk about with her name out there, anyway. So, okay. So, when I turned 18, I was living with my dad and my stepmom, and I was going to college. Well, one thing after another led to me moving to a different state where my siblings, two of my siblings lived who happen to have a different mom than I do. And I moved in with my brother for a while to, you know, get situated, everything like that. We'll just fast forward, whatever. So living in the state, I didn't really know anybody, and at one point or another, I met this girl, and me and her became good friends pretty quickly because we were kind of the same age. We had a lot of things in common, and we actually dated the same guy, which is crazy, but crazier things have happened, right? So, like I said, I became friends with her really quickly. I liked her as soon as I met her. I thought she was like really cool, and also didn't have a lot of friends, so I wanted to give it a try to see how things would go. And for a long time, me and her, like I said, we were good friends. We hung out a lot. We, whatever. We were friends. And at some point, she started talking to this guy, and I actually met him, and like we would hang out and stuff, and I got to know him kind of a little bit, and he seemed like a nice guy, and she seemed like she really liked him, so I was happy for them, and I didn't think much of it. Well, one day we were just talking randomly when we were hanging out, and she decided to let me know that he was married. And I was kind of like, whoa, I mean, that's between you and him and whatever, but I just got to thinking, like, that's kind of messed up because, he's married. And I didn't know the situation, though. I didn't know if, like, he was married, but he was separated. I didn't know if, you know, maybe it was okay what he was doing with the wife. I mean, I really didn't know. So I kind of just left it at that. Well, one day she calls me and she was just like, oh my goodness, we almost got caught. We almost got caught. I'm like, you almost got caught doing what? Like, what? And she was just like, well, even though, we've been hanging out for a while and everything has been going good, um, being stupid, we decided to go to his house. And I was like, okay. And then I kind of put two and two together, and she was just like, yeah, we went to his house, we were hanging out, we weren't even gonna do anything, we were just gonna hang out. And one thing led to another, and we started, you know, adult things. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then they heard a car pull up because I guess the room that they were in is near the back of their house, which is where their driveway is, or their garage, whatever. So they heard the car of, I guess, his wife. And she was just like, oh my goodness, we had to really quickly get our clothes on and leave through the front door. And I'm like, are you serious? And I'm just thinking like, oh my goodness, like, what the heck? Like, I cannot believe this is happening, or that this happened to you, and she's telling me this, and it's just like, wow. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, he had to stay in the house, and she had to go out the front door because she had already seen that he was here, because his car was parked in the garage or the driveway or whatever area it was that they keep their cars. And I was just like, oh, well, what'd you do? Like, were you gonna walk home? Because I guess she didn't have her car with her, and he had taken her to their house, because I don't think they had ever been there before, so she didn't even know where she was. I mean, I guess she probably knew where she was at in a way because she's from this area, but it was just like, okay. And so she's like, yeah, I had to wait for like 20 minutes so that he could make up an excuse to leave and take me home. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, I can't believe that that happened. Like, that's crazy. And then, like, my, um, my kind of instincts of a friend kicked in, or maybe to her so-called not a friend kicked in, because I kind of was just like, wow, like, that's pretty messed up. I mean, I was sitting there laughing a little bit because it's like, it is a little funny, and the way she was talking about it, like, it was jokingly because she didn't get caught, so it was more like kind of just a joke. But me being different than her and how I feel about that, I finally kind of just broke down and said, that's kind of messed up in a way that you guys are doing that. Like, I mean, maybe things are not perfect with him and his wife, but that doesn't mean that he should be cheating. And because you know that he's married, like, that just makes you as bad as him. And she was just like, I can't believe you would say that. Like, you're supposed to be my friend, and I'm not the one that's married. And like, pretty much, like, I don't know, like, he's the only one at fault because he's the one married. That's like basically how she was putting it. And it rubbed me the wrong way because it's just like, well, not really. Even if you're not the one married and you know someone's married, that doesn't give you a right to just still do something. I mean, obviously, it's your choice. You're an adult, he's an adult, whatever. But to me, when I was single and I would talk to somebody, or if ever there was a situation, if somebody was like, oh yeah, I'm married, I would be like, bye. Like, I'm not gonna put myself in that position, because that's not right. These people are married, they have different rules than us as single people do. I mean, I don't want to say it like that because that, I don't know, that doesn't really sound right. But it's just kind of like, when you're married, you have decided to spend your life with somebody else. And for you to turn around and, you know, be disloyal to that person that you decided to spend your life with, and that person has decided to spend their life with, and who knows how many years they have been together prior to this all happening. It's wrong. And I don't know. Like I said, I thought I was being a good friend by telling her the truth and saying, like, whoa, I think you need to leave him alone. Like, it's kind of messed up that you still continue to be with him after he told you that he was married. But apparently, like I said, she took it the wrong way and she got mad at me. So for a while, we didn't talk. Well, um, after a while, we kind of like got in contact again because at this time of being friends so long, we started having some mutual friends. And like, I will say, like, basically, I gained all these friends through her because she had known these people. So we kind of came in contact again, like I said, because we were hanging out with the same people. And I don't know, like, I don't know. It was weird because, like, I knew that she was mad at me because I had spoke my mind. So it was one of those situations where we were hanging out at a friend's house and she happened to come over, and, like, she was just like, hi, and I was like, hi, and then that was it. Well, then I'd say a couple weeks later, sorry, one of my cats is doing something and I hear it in the background. Um, so anyway, a couple weeks later, weirdly, she texts me and she's just like, "Hey, how you been? When you got a second, if you wanna give me a call." And I was just like, "Okay." So I call her and I'm just like, "Hey, how are things going?" "I'm good." Told her, whatever was going on in my life. And she was just like, I don't know what to do. I started out just doing stuff with him for fun because, I wasn't with anybody and, we're young, whatever. But now I'm starting to fall for him and he's married. So I just don't know what to do. And I was like, you know, okay, like you're probably picking the wrong person to talk to about all that because, the last time we had talked about things and I spoke my mind, we stopped talking for a while. So I was just thinking, like, what am I supposed to say? Like, if I say how I really feel, she's not gonna be happy, but I'm not gonna lie to her because that's not what friends do. Friends are not, okay, here's another thing, kind of getting off track a little bit, but still on topic. This is another thing. If you're young, if you're not, if you're an adult, like whatever the case may be, if a friend does not tell you how they really feel, if a friend does not lead you in a good way, like meaning that they're not trying to have you go towards doing good things with your life, making good choices, whatever the case may be, positive things, then that is not a friend. Now, when I was in high school, I didn't think that way. I always thought, even though my friends were going down the wrong path and it was kind of maybe like I would have done that anyway, even if I wasn't a friend to them, but I think it kind of led me more quickly down a bad path. And then also like another incident that I might do a video on. I haven't decided yet, but like kind of just to give her a general idea. Basically, one time when I was with my friends, we had gotten into trouble legally over some stuff that we did, and my friends took no blame for it and actually pinned it all on me. So if you have a friend that is like that, they are not your friend. I had to learn it the hard way. So if you're watching this, like hopefully you can learn from me and realize if you need to tell somebody get lost, or if you truly have a good friend. So anyway, I decided to be a good friend. I decided to tell her the truth because if it was me, I would want someone to be honest with me, and like I talked about, having an actual good friend that is a true friend. And so I told her, I was like, honestly, I know that this is going to be hard for you to hear, but I think you need to leave him alone. I think you need to cut everything with him and move on. I'm like, because one, he is married, and two, because I don't think he is in it for the same reasons as you now. I think that the reasons for why you first started, whatever you were doing with him, is still probably the same reason he's in it. Because he's already got somebody that's emotionally there for him, and his marriage and his wife, he has that. You, unfortunately, like, I didn't put it this way, but this is what it is. I mean, not every situation, but a lot of times I think this is what it comes down to. The guy is, or woman, when they're cheating and they're married, a lot of times it really is for physical reasons. I mean, it could be for an emotional reason, but I think it's mainly for that just attention that they are not getting or that they want differently from somebody else. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I just going off of this situation that we're talking about, it seemed to be that way, that he was still emotionally invested in his marriage because he was still there. They would go on family outings, apparently. They would go on vacations, whatever. So he was still emotionally in his marriage. It's just for some reason or another, he was seeking out physical relationships with other people. And that was another thing that I kind of pointed out to her, which she got mad about because she didn't believe. And I told her, I was like, you have no idea, truthfully, all the people that he is talking to and doing stuff with besides you. If he's willing to cheat on his wife of however many years, there's no telling what else he's doing. I mean, you might not be the only one. And why would you want to be with somebody that is willing to cheat on their wife over just a good time? And she didn't like that because she felt like I was diminishing what they really had, or what she felt that they had, because of her feelings that she had gained for him. And I didn't want to make her feel that way. I didn't want to make her feel like he was just using her, because I mean, maybe he wasn't, but whenever I spoke to her and she acknowledged what was going on with them, it was mainly physical, honestly. So I could kind of tell from looking outside in that it was never going to be what she wanted it to be, and it was not worth, coming in between a marriage anyway. So, unfortunately, like I kind of felt in the back of my head, she cut ties with me completely. Like, done. This time it was over. Like, she wasn't having what I said. She got offended with everything I said. And maybe I said some things the wrong way because I feel differently than she does. But for whatever reason, that was it. So, fast forward, I'd say a year and a half. I was still continuing friendship with people that were friends with her, but I was no longer associating with her because of her choice. So, out of the blue, I'm hanging out with one of the friends that she pretty much introduced me to, and they talked about her, and they were just like, oh, so-and-so's gonna have a baby, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'm really glad. Like, I hope that, everything goes well with the pregnancy and she delivers a happy, healthy baby and she recovers fast, whatever. Well, me still being a friend and maybe being a little nosy too, I was just like, oh, so is it with so and so or that guy? And they were like, no, actually, it's with whatever guy it was. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then they began to tell me about it, like how she tried to be with him for a while, and he actually started doing, like you see on a lot of TV shows, a lot of movies, whatever. I'm gonna leave my wife, we're gonna be together, we're gonna get a place, we're gonna have our own family, blah blah blah, I guess. And like, after months and months and months, she finally realized it was not gonna happen, and she finally let him go. And that was that. Like, we still have not been friends to this day. I just happen to know, like I said, what happened, because we were friends with some of the same people. But other than that, I don't really know. I mean, I'm sorry that we lost our friendship over this, because a guy or woman should never come between a friendship, but at the same time, like, since she thought it was something that meant so much to her, and she, I guess, maybe thought that they could be something, I guess I could see it. But overall, you shouldn't let that happen. And disagreements, like, no matter what, you shouldn't let that come between your friendship. And I'm sad that that happened, but life is like that. You might think that you have a friend for life, and truly they're only in your life for a couple years or a couple months, a couple hours. Like, who knows? That's why you just want to live your life to the fullest, and but still be honest, because I feel like if I wasn't honest with her, I wasn't being myself and I wasn't being a good friend. So if that meant that we had to part ways of our friendship, then that's it is what it is. So I don't know. I'm not gonna say I'm glad that that happened to her, because I could tell that she genuinely loved the guy, I guess. But I just, in my mind, it just didn't feel right. Like, I know for me, like, me and my man, we're basically married. Like, we have signed papers, we just have to go before a judge, and we've been together so long, so it's already kind of like that mindset. And so I know for me, if somebody were to try to be with him, even though he, knowing that he's married, I would feel like they are a big part of it too. Now, granted, it's mainly on him because he is the one I'm married to, but it does say a lot if you're willing to do that. And I don't know. There's people that I probably will get mad over this because they're on that other side and they really think they're in love and blah blah blah. And you know what? Maybe you are, but I can't in any way in my mind get that through my head about being with somebody who is married. Whether you are being told that it is a bad marriage, it's an unhappy marriage, it is she cheated first, he cheated first, like whatever, like that still does not justify getting in between someone else's marriage. You want to be with that person? Wait till they get divorced. Or I don't know, maybe not. Like I said, I've never been in that situation, so I don't know. Maybe a lot of people will disagree with me, but I can't wrap my head around it. And like I said, I'm not, over here happy and joyful that, that happened to her and that they never actually got together completely. But I'm glad that at some point she decided to finally cut ties with him because obviously he wasn't going to give her what she wanted, and everybody deserves to be happy with whatever they want, you know. And maybe it's different than others. Maybe some are okay with never being with, married or having kids or, being with somebody that has somebody else, I don't know, to each is their own. But to me, if I want to be with somebody, you're going to be committed to me. You're going to, we're going to have a family. And when times get rough, we're going to work through things. We're not just going to, go our separate ways or get the things that we need from somebody else. And if it comes down to that point, then I'm going to walk away and you're going to walk away. And I think that's how it should be in marriage. But again, everybody's relationship is different and everybody and what they want is different. So this was just kind of a story time in an experience I had, and I figured I'd share with you. I mean, I don't know. I thought it'd be fun. I know some people will probably enjoy hearing about this, and other people will probably hate on this. But yeah, so anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and whatever. Have a nice day.